Hello, students. So in this short video, we're going to talk a little bit about Module 5. Module 5 is describing the overall ideas of finding the center of your data. And so when you think about your data and all the variability that exists, what we oftentimes want to do is find kind of where's the middle. Okay, so there's two different tools we use. One is called the mean and one is called the median. Now, each one of them has a different purpose. So if you jump down to the Module 5 wrap-up at the end when you get there, the idea here is to kind of summarize what's going on. The idea of the mean is that it takes everything into account and then kind of balances it. So we think of that typically as the balancing point, or the fair share measure, if we're kind of taking everything that exists and dividing it equally among the data values. That's what it would look like. If you think about it, that's the one that most of the time people think of as the word average. Like, what's your average on the test? Well, if you ask a teacher that, they would take all of the scores, add them up, divide by how many people were in class, and then give you what's called the mean. But again, might refer to that as the average. So the other one is known as the median, and that's more of the middle value. And so if you think about putting the data in order, and that's very important, the data have to be in order to find the median. You don't just want to take the middle number in a list if it's not put in order, because it might actually be the smallest number. And that wouldn't be a good way to think about the middle, is just to say whatever number I get. So we want to put the numbers in order, and then that median will cut the data in half. So again, roughly half the data above and half the data below. And we'll see soon that what we can do is then kind of break it down even further. So usually that median is referred to as the second quartile. If you want to think of it that way, it's the 50% point, half the data above and half below. I thought it would be good to jump back and do a little bit with this quantitative data. We did an example earlier that involved actors and their ages when they won the Academy Award. So this gave us a nice little histogram. And if you take a look at the top, you'll notice that it does calculate the median for us. And the median here is 42.5. So that kind of lets you know it must be halfway between two people's ages. So right in the middle, there must have been someone who was about 42 and someone who was about 43, and the median would be then halfway between those. And again, that's kind of the cutoff. There's your cutoff, half the data above and half the data below. Now you'll notice the mean value, 44.7, that's higher than the median, and a big portion of why that mean is higher is because of this outlier, this value that's so far above all of the other ones that when we think about fair sharing it, if you will, it brings everybody up. Okay, that also means, maybe I shouldn't say the word that also means, but that also makes you think that the mean value is one that can be skewed up or down based on really high or really low values. So that's why when we're thinking about which average to use, if you see some outliers, then it's probably best to use the median instead of the mean. And so that's the idea there. Again, if this person's age, which looks like it was right around 76, if that person's age was incorrect and it was actually supposed to be 36, maybe someone typed it in wrong, you could actually go in here to the data and change it to 36, and if you take a look what happened. All of a sudden, the median is now 42, and the mean is 43.5. So they are much closer together, and they're much closer together because we removed an outlier that was pulling the mean up towards the top. So those are the big basics between those two measures of center. And as we move forward a little bit, we're going to talk about measures of spread or variability. So that's what's coming up next. right, off you go.